The podcast that you're about to hear is not affiliated with or authorized by CoolGames Inc., Polygon, or Vox Media. It was made as a tribute to the CoolGames Inc. fan community. Enjoy the podcast!
Welcome back to CoolGames Inc. Vancouver. It's a game design podcast where we take your ideas and turn them into good games. I am Euan O'Leary.
And I'm Spanky. Spanky Works on Twitter, but don't call me Spanky Works, just Spanky Works.
I said my name like I was going to say a catchphrase, and I still couldn't come up with one.
Yeah, we need to get you a catchphrase before
Euan O'Leary.
What
rhymes with O'Leary? Euan O'Leary, tired and weary. No, that's not a good tone to set for a podcast. Euan O'Leary, definitely not weary. No, sad and teary is also like
that's pretty sad.
Euan O'Leary, not teary or weary. That's yeah.
That's okay. I mean, I don't like it, but it rhymes, so you got that going for you.
I'll check Rhyme Zone later. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good as well.
Hey, that's good.
How did Nightclub Penguin do?
Nightclub Penguin did well.
It did well.
So here's
Good.
the thing about Nightclub Penguin.
Let's move on. It did well. You said it did well in that order. I guess it did well then, didn't it?
So we were pressured by the publishers to wait until an October 27th release.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the weekend before Spooktober ends and the Halloween month goes into the holiday, and jack-o'-lanterns and ghosts, and it turns out that Nintendo is also releasing their new horror game on October 27th.
Oh, shoot.
Mario Odyssey, which I believe is about how Mario gets a boat and then gets lost, and something to do with like the monsters, or I don't know.
That does sound scary. That's gonna outspook us, I think.
Yeah, so the game is cool, but I don't know if it's going to be able to stand up to Super Mario Odyssey.
I guess we'll see. We will see, because it is entirely possible that a Mario game will just entirely flop and not bring in billions of dollars. Yeah,
that's possible. But like the only thing I know is that it has to be a Halloween scary game, because it's coming out on the same day that the new Stranger Things season is coming out, which means that it has to be a spooky game, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure that's what it has to mean. Or that Finn Wolfhard is replacing Charles Martinet. He's taking the torch.
Oh my gosh. First Mario has nipples, and now Finn Wolfhard is Mario.
Would you like to hear an interesting fact about Ashton Kutcher?
Please, tell me an interesting fact about my favorite man, Ashton Kutcher.
Ashton Kutcher has webbed toes. 2 toes on his left foot are fused together.
Well, like Dragon Ball Z style?
I guess.
So Ashton Kutcher can do the fusion dance with his toes?
Yeah.
That's pretty sick.
Although
man.
That assumes he would have to like split apart his toes, and that's an upsetting image.
I believe in Ashton.
Mm-hmm. One day he'll do it. He'll separate his toes, and then the universe will reach enlightenment and collapse in on itself and implode and explode at the same time.
Do you want to design some video games?
Yeah, maybe we should.
Okay, let's do some that.
Do you have an idea to start us off with?
Sure. So I've got this one. It's from Nathan Klitsch, ? At N47Z86 on Twitter. Nathan says, a first-person shooter video game set in the wizarding world of Harry Potter.
Okay.
I have a question. Since we're doing spooky games, is this a first-person shooter video game set in like the same world Harry Potter lives in, or is this a first-person shooter game at the theme park wizarding world of Harry Potter, and you have to go to a haunted theme park of the wizarding world of Harry Potter, and everyone is like zombies and stuff?
That sounds somewhat more upsetting than a fictional locale for a first-person shooter.
So I want it to be called Max's Day at Wizarding World of Harry Potter. And like if you order your tickets early, or if you like pre-order some tickets for a few months in advance, that you get a free copy of this game, and all the parents are gonna be like, oh, my kids are gonna love this Harry Potter video game, and they'll be so happy to go there, and then they give it to their kids, and it's about how Max, the titular character of the video game, goes to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter theme park, and then all of the people who work there are actually like possessed and try to kill you with magic props. And then when the kids go there, they're absolutely fucking terrified.
Okay. So who are they possessed by? Are they possessed by ghosts of people who have died on rides on whatever? Where is the Harry Potter world? Is it Disney or Universal? What is it?
It is definitely either Disney or Universal. It's in Florida.
Right.
And I've not been there, which makes me think it's probably Disney because I've been to Universal, but like I also think I went before they built it, so I don't. So going to Florida is a pretty scary experience, just in general. Okay. So I'm okay with traumatizing children about visiting Florida because I've been there a few times and I did not really enjoy anything in Florida.
Okay.
No offense to anyone listening from Florida. I mean, I think you understand where I'm coming from, honestly.
What's wrong with it?
Well, that's the state where, like, there's the superhero called Florida Man, and all he does is really fucked up shit in headlines. So if you see a headline beginning with Florida Man, it'll probably be like, eats someone's face because they took drugs. That kind of thing.
Great. Sounds better than some of the things Marvel has passed as their next superhero. So,
heck yeah.
So it's an FPS where you're shooting possessed people? Because that doesn't sound morally viable.
Yeah. So, what if it's like a Donnie Darko style, and I'm bringing this up because I just rewatched Donnie Darko.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Donnie Darko style, like, hallucination.
Okay.
Where the kids are actually, or the Max in this situation, and the kids playing Max in the video game are hallucinating, and they don't know what's real and what's not. So, like, sometimes it'll be like Mickey Mouse, but he'll turn around and it'll have like the face from the rabbit Frank from Donnie Darko, and a bunch of that stuff will happen. And the shooting isn't actually firearms, but it's like a wand.
Okay.
And the way that you know that something is part of your mind is that you can damage it with your magic spells. Like, because obviously you couldn't damage reality, but as you progress throughout the game, the line between reality and hallucination starts to blur. So you just start like you look like real life looks like you can affect it with your spells, and then sometimes your spells don't affect your hallucinations, and it's really just a big psychological mess where you have no idea what's going on and you're terrified out of your mind because of theme parks.
That sounds legitimately unsettling. If you're playing a game where you're playing as a child who's like killing things in their imagination and then at some point cannot tell the difference anymore, that sounds like an actual psychological thriller type.
You told me you've
game.
Never played Silent Hill, right?
I have not. Is that what it's actually?
No one knows what Silent Hill is actually about. There's a whole wiki about it, and none of it makes sense. But the second Silent Hill, well, the second and third ones have plots that you can kind of follow, but like everything in them is still completely fucking batshit crazy and doesn't make any sense. But in the second one, it's implied that while you're going around and shooting up monsters and shit, it's actually just you're hallucinating, and real life you're just murdering a bunch of innocent people.
Fun. What does
but
that,
also like
it
doesn't make sense. So
that reminds me of something with a similar plot twist that I cannot remember. Oh, Scott Pilgrim. It's Scott Pilgrim, because there was originally going to be the dark plot twist that Scott was just a serial killer killing his girlfriend's ex-boyfriends.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah. I mean, he still kind of does, but it's a bit more fun now.
Yeah. Maybe we'll have some cool achievements or something, so that way people will have more fun experiencing a psychological hell.
Yeah.
Where you're possibly a serial killer. Okay, let's do another game. You got a game?
Yeah, okay. So this one was an image submission on the CoolGames Inc. subreddit. It's from Ninja Muffin 99, and it's a picture of a goldfish with text saying, "There's nothing special about this dog, but beware, it will remember you." And they've added the caption, "A Telltale game series."
I've already done the thing where I talk about how Telltale makes me really mad.
So let's just make we've got it. Let's just make one. So it's a goldfish, but no, it's a dog. And there's nothing special about the dog, even though it looks like a goldfish. But it will remember you.
Is it a goldfish retriever?
I think we have to end the podcast. I think our podcasting career is over now.
We killed it?
You've doomed us.
Did the podcast go live on a farm upstate?
I guess so. It's quiet uptown. Because they don't play podcasts. Is there anything else we can do? So I don't know if there's actually a game here. It's just funny.
When I'm talking about Telltale games, the only thing I want to do is talk about how it only makes me fucking infuriated that nothing you do matters. And I've already done that.
So let's make the Telltale game that does matter. What is a consequential action that relates to a goldfish dog?
You don't remember to feed your goldfish dog, and then it dies, and then your parents make you drop out of school, and then you talk to your mom, and you're like, "Mom, I am either A, happy you did this, or B, upset that you took me out of school." If you answer A, then you become a criminal and you join a gang, and the whole game's completely different. If you say, "Mom, I want to go back to school," then she puts you back in school, even though you killed your goldfish like a sadistic son of a bitch, and then you become a scientist, because different endings do not mean a different single choice that barely makes any impact that then is erased entirely at the beginning of the next game. Telltale, you motherfuckers!
But the goldfish will remember you. So he's dead, but I think you are haunted by the ghost of your goldfish, who, depending on the life path you choose, will be judging you and saying, "Oh, I knew you were on this path when I was first looking at you through my aquarium home. My cage."
A goldfish has a 10-second memory.
But it will remember you.
Right.
Because it died in its last 10 seconds. So everything it remembers is from the last 10 seconds, and I guess you were present when it died.
What if, Telltale style, you can talk to the goldfish and convince it to be good, but then 10 seconds later it will go back to hating you? So that at any point during the game you can just stop and be like, talk to the goldfish, and then you just choose the right dialogue options. Goldfish is like, "You know what, I'm really upset that I had this attitude towards you, and now I think that I'm going to treat you with respect. I hate you," and then start going back to the murdery thing.
That sounds like it could be a marketable mobile game, because those are all about just repeating actions, very simple actions over and over. And maybe you can upgrade your ability to convince the goldfish so you can do it quicker, even though you still have to tap it every 10 seconds.
What if the goldfish tries to flush your whole body down the toilet? Because that's what you do to dead goldfish. So, like, you have to avoid toilets for the whole game, even when you gotta go pee really bad. Because the goldfish will try and flush you down the toilet. It could be a
whole different game when you have been flushed down the toilet by your ghost goldfish. Yeah, that sounds like a more interesting game than Life of Crime or Science.
And then you can meet the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because they live in the sewer.
Life of Crime or Science is actually a good title.
What is a good title?
Life of Crime or Science. Maybe in brackets, Life of Crime, in brackets, or Science.
a life of crime, in brackets, or science. That's a pretty long title. Maybe we should just put or science in brackets instead of writing out in brackets.
Oh. Yeah. One of those. Do you have another game?
This one comes from Scott Patrick on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
At Scott Patrick. He says, "Relax bike."
Okay. So it's like the NES classic Excite Bike.
Do 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 do. But then it's like a slow jazz, like a yeah. So we do that.
So the thing about Excite Bike is, so I think it plays just fine if you hold A, but if you hold B, your bike overheats. And that's a big thing everyone talks about the bike overheating and falling off the stage. So if Relax Bike, you're not driving quite as fast. I don't think there's anybody else on the track. Maybe it's nighttime and it's just lit. And there's smooth jazz. And you're driving along all slow. And there's no danger of overheating. And you're just relax biking.
What if the main character of Relax Bike is an ASMR YouTube video maker?
Mm-hmm.
Who turned away from a life of crime to making ASMR YouTube videos, but she cannot afford to fund her videos anymore because of her previous crime partner has come back, and now she has to compete in a motorbike tournament in order to win enough money to pay back the criminal partner that she used to have, and then go back to living her dream of making ASMR videos.
So it's like a tortoise hare situation where she is slow and steady, but she's going to win the race by relaxing her opponent enough to make him fall asleep.
Yeah, so like as she passes, or actually, let's be more realistic, as one of her opponents passes her, she'll just get like a brush and just like put it really close to his ear and then just like rub her fingers across the brush.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll force him to have an ASMR attack or whatever that is, and he has to pull over and just enjoy.
I'm sorry, how do you think ASMR works? You have an ASMR attack?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have an ASMR. I don't do that. I just assume that it's like anxiety but with pleasure.
Yeah, I don't think pleasure attacks are really... I mean...
Oh my god, we can call the game Pleasure Attacks.
That sounds like a whole other game, and I do want to pitch Pleasure Attacks now. What is Pleasure Attacks about?
Okay.
And don't get lewd.
They can do naughty suggestions about this one, but I don't want to go there because I think I'm better than that.
Yeah, don't go lewd.
Full disclosure, I'm not better than that, but I think I am.
Good.
So, Pleasure Attacks is about going to the mall, and then they have those chairs that you sit, the massage chairs that you sit in.
Oh, I love those.
And
chuck in a toonie and relax.
And then you're like, oh man, I've been walking around the mall. I just got out of mall store, JCPenney's, other mall. I have not been to the mall in a long time.
EB Games.
Anyway, so you sit down in this massage chair, which someone has probably shit themselves in today. But man, it just looks so comfortable, and you can put a quarter in and it'll give you a massage. So you sit in, you drop your quarter in, and then all of a sudden you get grabbed, and then it's a quick time event about how to escape the chair.
Okay. And so this is just the first level then? There are other pleasure attacks in the mall?
Yeah, you're always in the mall.
So maybe you go and you get a pretzel, and it's like a really nice, warm, buttery, cheesy, soft pretzel. And then it ties a knot around you. This is all sounding kind of bondage fetishy. We tried not to go lewd. Everything is going to be lewd for somebody out there.
Yeah, and let's be real here. Pretzels are one of the most sexy foods.
Yeah, I could. I'm not going to finish that sentence.
So the food court has like pretzels that try to knot you.
Mm-hmm.
If you walk through like the Macy's, is there anything pleasant in a Macy's? I don't know. All I know about Macy's is it's the most convenient place to enter my local mall, and B, the least convenient store to walk through in the mall, because you will be assaulted by every type of
Pretzel.
perfume and
Salted,
makeup-y thing. Yeah. You will be assaulted. It's not you will be sprayed by something if you walk through a Macy's.
See, this is showing I don't know a lot of the stories you're talking about because of Canada versus America, so any joke we make is going to be exclusively for our particular nations. So EV Games, you go into EV Games or GameStop for y'all Americans, and there are two people having a conversation. Oh, I heard the greatest conversation in EB Games, and now I want to remember exactly what it was. But I know I think it was whether a shark or a bear would win a fight. Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Bears would so not win that fight.
They were very serious about this argument, and I was...
Okay, but listen, a bear can do a little bit of swimming because it eats salmon and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But a shark literally lives in the water, and it also has more teeth. And the bear, if it's in the water, which it can't be on land because you can't have a shark versus bear fight on land. The shark will just die.
See, this is getting unpleasant. We want to keep it all very pleasure attacks. So they're having this pleasant conversation, and there's the little bin full of plushy Mario toys, and maybe you fall in that and it's like quicksand and you have to escape the soft Mario characters.
Yeah, that's pretty pleasurable. But so what if it's a Build-A-Bear?
Okay.
And like you're building your perfect friend, your perfect new best friend that you get to live with forever and have memories. And then as you're like, assembling the last bit. I don't know how Build-A-Bear works, but as you're like assembling your bear or whatever, the machine that builds bears like bursts out of the back room where I assume they keep the bear building machine, and then just starts throwing bears at you.
Mm-hmm. And it's like...
And it has an endless supply of bears because it builds them.
Mm-hmm. And if
what are bears made out of?
Bear fluff.
Bear fluff.
Mm.
Where do you buy bear fluff?
At Build-A-Bear Workshop?
Okay.
I think that's as far as we can go with pleasure attacks. How about this one from Long Live Vader on the subreddit? Microtransactions.
Like first name Michael, last name transactions?
I think it is the 2018 new and improved version of microtransactions. Now in all your video games, instead of buying small form content for $1 or $2, you will be trading Michaels with people. So maybe I've got a Michael Keaton.
So you just get to you get to be like, hey, I've got a Michael Bay.
I'll trade
you
for Michael Jordan or Michael Keaton.
Okay, no one would trade Michael Bay for Michael Jordan.
No, I think maybe...
Michael Jordan is worth at least 3 Michael Bays.
I'd trade Michael Jordan's, maybe his left forearm for 1 Michael Bay. I think that'd be fair.
Yeah, but then I won't have the complete set. I won't have the complete Michael.
Right. But maybe if you have doubles, like you have 2 Michael Jordans.
What if Michaels each have like a division? So like you got $1.50. What if every Michael has a 50%, like a value of 50% of them, but that person goes by Mike? So like Michael Jordan does not go by Mike Jordan.
No.
So like half of Michael Jordan would be like Mike Myers.
Okay, so the Mikes are worth half as much as Michaels?
Not as all Michaels, just every Michael has a Mike.
Okay.
so that whenever you're that way you can like break it down. So it's like sometimes you'll have only a Mike left in your wallet, and maybe half of Michael Jordan, Mike Myers, maybe that's worth more than like. I don't really know a lot of people named Michael. Michael
Sheen.
What's the guy from Arrested Development?
I do
What's
not
his name?
know. Michael. Michael Blue Man.
Bluth.
Is it?
George Michael. That's right. Never mind.
George Michael? Does
Anyway,
George Michael
so
count? Michael Bublé. How much?
George Michael. No, that doesn't count. That doesn't count. No.
How much is Michael Bublé worth? Like compared to
Michael
other Michaels?
Bublé. Oh my gosh. Michael Bublé is not a fixed value of Michael. You might say that the value of that Michael sways a little bit.
Okay.
Ba-ba-ba-ba-da-da. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So what Michael do you have in your wallet right now?
Hold on. Let me open up my wallet that I have right here, just for the specific purpose to see which Michael I have in it. The thing that really screws this, the thing that really chaps this suggestion's ass is that I just don't know a lot of Michaels.
Yeah. I think we've named enough to seem like we...
Michael Strahan? That's a Michael. I think he did a sports. Michael...
I'm gonna remember more Michaels tomorrow, because I know I was remembering more...
Oh yeah, tomorrow we're gonna be fucking messaging each other with like every Michael that exists.
Because like I was thinking today, Fight Club is one of my favorite movies, and I did not bring up the fact that the main character is like in the script named Jack when we were talking about all the Jacks in the Jackie Chan game. I could have talked about that.
And that would have been a good one too.
Yeah, it was like, oh, so Jackie Chan wants to be the leader of a fight club, but you can't Jackie Chan? But it's too late, because...
Man, I really liked pitching that Jackie Chan game.
Yeah. Why didn't we make that the game? That was better than whatever we did.
No, it wasn't.
Wasn't it?
I don't remember what was the real one, but if it was the one where we did Nightclub Penguin, then it wasn't, because that game is still good.
Okay.
I liked it.
Let's do a different pitch. Here is one that is more like an actual game. This is from... So, this was posted on the subreddit by Sir Gary Gallimont, and then it was emailed to us by Orange Hacked. I don't know if those are the same person, or if somebody was taking it from somebody else. Anyway, it's a stealth game, but you're the guard. You have to find the generic stealth game protagonist and kill them. Keep up your detection meter, or you lose sight of them. You can draw attention to them, ring alarms, do guard stuff, and if they kill you, your perspective switches to another guard.
Or you're a ghost possessing the guards, and when they kill you, you have to possess a new guard.
You really like doing spooky games, don't you? You really have to make sure...
It's Spooktober. I need a ghost in every game. I need a chicken in every pot.
Okay. So
ghosts are in this game.
Okay.
Because I said so. That's my executive decision about video games.
Right.
Michael Cera, Michael Phelps.
Good job.
Sorry.
Michael Cera's a good one.
That was the Michael in Arrested Development I was trying to think of, by the way.
Okay.
So you ghost man. So you're Ghost, and
what stealth games like come to mind for you? Because I'm thinking mostly Skyrim and I guess Thief, and Arkham. Arkham are. Well, I guess that's already a thing with Batman Arkham Origins, where there was the multiplayer mode where you could play as one of the thugs, but that should be a single player mode, because that's kind of interesting to me. Because the Predator mode in the Arkham games is probably my favorite stealth anything. I like doing that. Is that sadistic? I feel like it's one of the most sadistic video games there is, where you're Batman and you're just messing with people and terrifying them and knocking them out in various cool ways.
That's probably what I would do if I was Batman.
Yeah.
I would not stop crime and save Gotham City. I would just stand in the middle of the street and scare young children.
Mm-hmm.
Very young children.
Because when you're Batman,
old enough to form memories, though.
When you're Batman, Spooktober is all year round.
Oh my gosh, Batman is the best job.
Yeah. I mean, it's not really his job. He also has to do business stuff and go to meetings, which... Can you imagine sitting through a board meeting the day after you spent a night beating costumed criminals to a bloody pulp?
When does Bruce Wayne sleep?
Do you think he does stuff like Lakeith Stanfield in the Death Note movie where he has, like, power naps that are...
What you're talking about is stupid, because what you need to be referencing is the greatest James Bond movie ever made, Pierce Brosnan in Die Another Day, where the main villain wears this glowy ass mask that makes it so he doesn't have to sleep forever. That's what you need to be referencing, because that's cool as hell.
That is a thing, like, I guess it could be a video game, but it could be anything really, is there should be more things about a thug who is terrified of Batman, because that's a way more relatable point of view than being Batman. I guess it has kind of been done with, like, Assault on Arkham, or I guess parts of Batman v Superman, which I didn't watch, so I don't know.
You haven't
Mike
watched
Tyson.
Batman v Superman?
Mike Tyson.
Oh my god, this episode is just gonna be us remembering Mike's
And Michael J.
after
Fox.
we did the Michael game.
I
Michael
pulled...
J. Fox, yeah.
Yeah.
Why? Why in the moment can we not remember Michael's? But then
Michael
as
Moore?
soon as we devolve, we can just be like, Michael Douglas.
Michael Douglas, yeah.
And I already said Michael.
Michael Gambon.
Michael Nyman.
Are you looking at a list? Because I'm looking at a list now. Michael Owen.
No. I'm still trying to think of good Michaels off of my brain.
How much is Michael B. Jordan compared to Michael Jordan?
Michael B. Jordan is not as good as Michael Jordan, because Michael can never be Jordan.
Okay. Good job.
Thank you. I tried real hard to make that one into a joke, and I don't think it was funny, but I appreciate you humoring me.
I think maybe this game, because you're trying to catch the generic stealth protagonist, and there are some of those that are pretty stupid, like Skyrim. He's just crouching in the middle of the room. I think that would be pretty easy if you were controlling the guard to prevent him. Batman, I think, is the last level of the game when the difficulty spikes up, because I don't know exactly what you do to stop Batman unless you have a gun, and even then there's the disruptor power up, and then you're screwed.
Yeah.
So that could be a fun game, maybe. How about I really put in some Russian music right now. Edit in some Russian music.
Okay.
It is now time for Stalin's Ideas Wiki. And this week it is Peanuts Kingdom. This is a game based upon the Kingdom Hearts game engine, but using Peanuts comic characters with Final Fantasy and third-party Disney franchises and blah blah blah, a bunch of other franchises. Basically, it is Kingdom Hearts, but it is like exponentially improved because you are playing as Charlie Brown, and Charlie Brown with a Keyblade and whatever stupid zipper boots and gloves that Kingdom Hearts characters wear.
You are a big Peanuts fan, but you have not played the Kingdom Hearts series video games
because they don't feature Peanuts characters.
I don't understand. I mean, I watched the pumpkin or whatever
because it was Spooktober.
Yeah, because it was spooky. I watched the Great Pumpkin, and I've seen like a couple other ones maybe, but I've played the Kingdom Hearts series of video games, and I've watched most Disney movies, which I don't think you have. So
I've watched a few.
We can mix our brains together to form one perfect brain, to make this video game.
Okay.
In the Kingdom Hearts series of video games, you don't play as a Disney character. You play as Sora, who is a boy played by Haley Joel Osment and has anime spiky hair. But you are friends with Donald and Goofy. So do we play as Charlie Brown in this game, or do we play as an anime kid who goes and like hangs out with Charlie Brown? And
no, see, because the anime kid is where you lose me. You've got to play as Charlie Brown because he is the thing about Charlie Brown. He is like a kid's character in some ways, insofar as he's in kids' movies, but he is also his primary character trait is that he is depressed. He is probably clinically depressed, and that is the butt of most of the conflict and humor, which is pretty dark, but also why he's such a great character. And it says of him in this Ideas Wiki article that he is the hero of the story and wielder of the Kingdom Keyblade. Often garners a mixed reaction by the people around him. They don't hate him, but they could care less. And he's going up against Satan, because of course he is. I don't know how that works in Kingdom Hearts, but I guess he's fighting Lucifer or Lucy.
Yeah.
Because it could be
Lucy,
Damnation 5 cents. That would be good. And this article has the weirdest assortment of properties being used, because it lists as his an ally of Charlie Brown, Clark Kent / Superman, famously known as the last son of Krypton. He brings a load of super firepower to Charlie Brown's team. But the first world listed is East High from High School Musical. So Superman and Charlie Brown with a Keyblade fighting Sade and Lucy in a musical while they are singing. So it could be the Under the Sea thing from Kingdom Hearts, where it suddenly turns into a rhythm game. That's what happens, right?
Yes.
Some of the other properties, the one that catches my eye the most of the other properties listed is South Park. They include South Park as one of the worlds.
Okay, so there's like a South Park world that Charlie Brown goes to. Mm-hmm.
So
I don't like where that goes.
No.
That's scary. That's mixing like something very pure and something very not pure.
If you think that's mixing it, there is a whole like assortment of I said assortment already earlier. There is a whole group of articles on Ideas Wiki that propose an alternate universe where South Park doesn't exist, and instead the creators of South Park made a Peanuts adaptation aimed at adults based on their Spirit of Christmas whatever pilot.
Ugh.
And it's like a really long-winded account of the history of South Park, except it's Peanuts. And I don't know who made it or why, but it is weird to read.
I guess it was just something. I mean, it had to happen, right? Someone had to write that.
I guess
it was only a matter of time.
It was inevitable. You're right. There's also a lot of Narnia in this article, because I guess it's right when Disney was making their Narnia movies. Did any of those make it into any Kingdom Hearts games?
No.
Okay.
And also, I've never seen them.
You're not really missing anything. It's like a more kids-oriented Lord of the Rings. Like, I would recommend the BBC ones over them, even though they're cheesy as hell and BBC 70s. Well, 80s, but like Doctor Who type stuff. Oh yeah, and Sonic's in it, because Sonic's in everything that we pitch from Ideas Wiki, I guess.
While Sonic has been brought up, I do want to, and this can be because Disney owns. Hold on, let me just say it. I found a pitch, and this was from the subreddit and it was Shadow the Hedgehog, but instead you play as Anakin Skywalker. That's from Freaky Mutant Man.
Yes, I'm down. I'm into it.
So the game Shadow the Hedgehog, but Shadow the Hedgehog is a world in this game, and Disney owns Star Wars, so it's canon that you can have, like, you know, you pick up Anakin Skywalker on Star Wars world or whatever, and then you go to Shadow the Hedgehog world, and Shadow has been, like, kidnapped or whatever, so then Anakin Skywalker has to play through the, like, part one level of this video game is just all of Shadow the Hedgehog, where you play as Anakin Skywalker.
That sounds... see, I like the idea of Shadow the Hedgehog being there so they can play off one another, like, where's that damn fourth Chaos Emerald? From my point of view, it's over there. I see it, it's over there. And
then Anakin can go and kill all the kids.
Yeah, but Shadow's like, no, I'm morally ambiguous. Killing all the kids is definitely a straight up bad thing.
But then he can say, but I have to kill all the kids. Where's that damn fourth youngling? And kill the fourth youngling.
And no, he pretends to kill the fourth youngling, and Anakin's like, did you kill him? And he's like, yes. He's like, liar! That's my favorite underrated line from Revenge of the Sith, when Padme says she loves him and he just yells liar at the top of his lungs. That is the funniest movie ever made, I think, possibly.
I feel like we have to have a discussion sometime, maybe now, maybe not now, about which of the Star Wars movies is actually the worst.
Okay. So, Simon Pegg said that Attack of the Clones is worse than Phantom Menace because he thinks that the response of people going, it's not as bad as Phantom Menace, kind of warmed people up to it more than they should have. But I don't know if that's enough justification to say that it's worse than Phantom Menace. Which
Phantom Menace is a piece of dumpster trash.
Mm-hmm.
And I will not lighten my opinion on that.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 2 is also dumpster trash. But the first one, they spend an hour on Tatooine where nothing happens. There's, like, almost no lightsabers in it. And the acting from Kid Anakin there's this scene and no one ever remembers it because I guess it's traumatizing to them. But little Kid Anakin walks up to Yoda and he's like, and I shit you not, I'm not even like, I don't even think I could act as badly as this kid did. But he was like, Master Yoda, Obi-Wan told me about midi-chlorians and that my count was really high. What are midi-chlorians? Like, I think I just did a better job of reciting that line than fucking Jake Lloyd did in Star Wars.
But then you have Hayden Christensen. Did Hayden Christensen do a better job than Jake Lloyd? Who pulled it off better? Because they were both pretty terrible.
Jake Lloyd, I don't want to talk bad about him because he's had some problems. But listen, he didn't do a good job.
Okay, but
he was a kid, and it wasn't his job to make that movie good.
Yeah.
So you can't be like, Hayden versus Jake, because Hayden is a grown-ass adult, and he fucking did what he did in episode 2 to all of us, and that's inexcusable. But it's not as inexcusable as the entirety of episode 1.
See, I think it's easier to laugh at Hayden Christensen because, like, he's saying, I hate sand, and everyone loses it. But with Jake Lloyd, it's more just painful and also hard to joke about because of Jake Lloyd and everything about him that happened since. What were we originally? Hayden Christensen is can we have Hayden Christensen play Shadow the Hedgehog, actually?
Yeah, so Hayden Christensen can be Shadow the Hedgehog and Anakin. He can do both roles.
He'll do both, yeah.
Oh my god, okay.
So, Peanuts Kingdom.
Yeah.
I think that's all we have to say about... Oh, no, I just read Snoopy in Battle Armor. That is the most beautiful chain of words I've read today.
So Snoopy... the Red Baron, Battle Armor, is he Falcon from the Marvel movies, but also still Snoopy? Because Disney owns Marvel, So we can throw the Marvel Universe superheroes in there.
That sounds.
But instead of Falcon, it's just Snoopy.
That sounds pretty bad.
In battle armor.
I would be down.
Okay.
Although I am also a fan of Snoopy flying on his doghouse. Like the Snoopy versus the Red Baron video game on PS2 is like a very good, surprisingly, dogfight simulator. But you fly as Snoopy on the doghouse for the tutorial, and then for the rest of the game it's on the Sop with Camel, which... Why couldn't it just have kept being the doghouse? Because then you're playing a well-structured dogfight game on a doghouse instead of a Sop with Camel one where you can barely tell it's Snoopy unless you're like at a certain angle. Anyway, this podcast has too many bits of me ranting about PS2 games that nobody cares about anymore.
It has too many bits of me derailing it because I find stupid images and remember people named Michael.
Why do we podcast? Anyway, let's move on from Peanuts Kingdom. As much as I love it, let's try something else.
Okay.
This is from Smelliot, who hasn't steered us wrong yet. An officially licensed Kool-Aid game about founding and maintaining... That's a weird way to say it. Founding and maintaining a cult.
Oh, yeah! I like this one.
Well done. Okay. So, it's a cult tycoon... No, wait, I just did the title.
I just watched that cartoon that you made me watch on YouTube.
Camp.
Mm-hmm. And there is an episode of that cartoon about cult people,
mm-hmm. Which has the Kool-Aid joke in it.
So yes, well, you know about the Jonestown people, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So joke is like, is that the term?
Anyway, so what happens is kind of like in that one, the Kool-Aid man breaks through a wall and it's at a job fair, and it's like, whoa. So like all these people are trying to hire people, and then like one of the places hires Kool-Aid Man, and Kool-Aid Man, what his job is to get everyone to drink his Kool-Aid,
mm-hmm.
and then once they do, they just become like husks of their former selves with no free will, and then then they'll drink the Kool-Aid, and then they'll die.
So, are we thinking Plague Inc. style? The cult followers try and initiate other people, and you have to effectively spread it across as large a population as possible.
So, are we playing as the Kool-Aid Man?
I guess we are, if we've gone to the trouble of licensing the product.
So, you play as Kool-Aid Man,
mm-hmm.
and you go to like all of the places that you get jobs at, and the places that you just talk to people at. You can go hang out at the bowling alley and pick up people, and it's over time they just like start like, oh yeah, this Kool-Aid dude, he's pretty good, and like when they start to think that you're like a cult leader or whatever, you just bust through the wall and you're like, oh yeah. And they're like, that Kool-Aid guy, he's so funny. And then they're like, that's immediate points back for you. So like you just have to keep balancing out with what frequency you can do the oh yeah,
mm-hmm.
that they don't think it's weird or whatever.
So it's like,
but you still,
I think a Guitar Hero level comes up, but it only lasts for 1 second, and it is only oh yeah. But there are
2 notes.
But there are
oh, yeah.
20 different notes for you to hit.
And you have to have a guitar controller. Just you don't play the rest of the game with it. Just like for when those, it's like jump scares.
Mm-hmm.
But when those pull, you like gotta quickly reach down and grab the guitar with 20 keys on it to play the oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so if you nail that, then suddenly everyone in the room is in your cult. But it is unlikely. I think I know how we get this game made. So obviously, it's not going to be very easy to get Kool-Aid in on the idea of licensing a game about the Jonestown tragedy.
Yes.
So, what we do is we get PETA to help us make this game. And the Kool-Aid Man is not full of Kool-Aid.
We get the guy from Hunger Games. We get the guy from Hunger Games to help us.
We get the developers of the Super Chick Sisters that are fighting KFC because Mario has hurt his hands on playing the Wii, and also that Super Mario Fur, whatever that was, and the Pokemon one. We get those guys, and instead of red Kool-Aid, Kool-Aid Man is full of blood because that's edgy and gross, and it's gonna make people remember Kool-Aid has meat in it. Kool-Aid's not vegan, apparently.
Kool-Aid actually isn't vegan, though, right?
Oh, yeah? What's
I'm
not
pretty
vegan
sure
in
it has, like, bone dust or something in it.
Okay, so that's... We're going to be campaigning with PETA against the use of bone dust.
So what we do is we make an entire video game about how Kool-Aid is the...
See, the bone dust is what is in the Kool-Aid to get people to join the cult.
Yeah, so we make an entire video game about how the Kool-Aid Man is actually a cult leader, and the reason that we do that is because we disagree with their use of animal products in their manufacturing process. So we partner with PETA to make the Kool-Aid Man game because PETA, like us, wants to spread the message that eating animal products is bad and you shouldn't do it. So we make a video game where you play as Kool-Aid Man, but instead of Kool-Aid, your body's full of blood, like other bodies, which now, kind of doesn't seem that strange because humans also are full of blood. But Kool-Aid Man's transparent, so you can see all his blood, and then he makes all the people die because they eat animal products.
Mm-hmm. How is Kool-Aid Man... Is he actually made of glass if he is a sentient being? Because it was questionable to begin with that a man made of glass could break through a wall. So, what exactly is he actually made of? What are there? Is he like an insect of some sort? He's a large invertebrate with see-through skin.
In the very first iterations of Kool-Aid Man, he was a person in a costume. But as time evolved and technology went further than God could have ever anticipated, it created the CGI and cartoon versions, which is an actual
picture of Kool-Aid.
What's the word for making it like a person?
Like anthropomorphic.
Like people. Yeah, it's an actual anthropomorphic picture of Kool-Aid.
Mm-hmm.
So now that we have disgraced God with our creations, we have to pay for it. We have to pay for what we did. We made God cry, and God's tears are Kool-Aid.
But that's good, isn't it? Kool-Aid's pretty nice. Should we make God cry more so we can have more Kool-Aid? Except it's full of that bone dust.
Yeah, can't have the bone dust.
No, because it's not vegan, and also it makes you join the cult.
Yeah. I like this game enough to say that I think this game should be the game that we make this week.
Okay. We haven't really talked about gameplay all that much. So, well, I mean, again, apart from the QuickTime event of the sudden Guitar Hero. So, I mentioned Plague Inc. I guess it's kind of like that. But, so what kind of selections do you make? What are your options when you're trying to maximize your cult spread?
You get to choose. It's like a political campaign, so you get to have a chief of staff and a chief strategist and all that shit.
I think maybe you also have.
It's literally the whole world. We use people's LinkedIn profiles to just get what they do, and you can recruit them, and then you just build your political campaign system. And the idea is to tell people that bone dust is good, but you'll always lose because it's not. So it's kind of rigged against you. And the only way to actually win is if you there's one specific character in the whole game that can make it so that you can win. And part of the goal is trying to figure out who that is.
And I think we both know. that it is
Yeah, it's
Ashton
Ashton
Kutcher. So, well, because of Ashton Kutcher, I think we should look at the celebrity endorser side of this, because that's a big part of cults. Like, we need to find our Tom Cruise to get our cult on the road, to get it hip with the kids. I mean, it's already going to be pretty hip with the kids because it's Kool-Aid, but we do need to get it hip with the older kids who think they're too cool for Kool-Aid. Them Capri Sun kids.
Can you be too old for Kool-Aid?
No, but you can be. Were you never that age, or like new people who suddenly decided?
You've only known me for a short amount of time, but no, I have never been at quote unquote that age. I've always done everything so fucking wrong.
But like I've had friends who, somewhat like between the ages of.
I've never had friends.
Okay. Between the ages of 11 and, let's say, 16, there are people who suddenly decide that the things they liked as kids, even if they still hold merit, they cannot like anymore. That they are sort of insecure with their adulthood, which they don't even really have yet. And so, like, I had a friend who suddenly decided one day that he didn't like Mario anymore for no real reason other than just his kid stuff. Or like I had one friend who refused to talk about Pixar movies.
I'm pretty sure the only people who are like, kid stuff are people who have no idea what it's like to be an adult.
Right.
Because man, fuck adult stuff for real. It all sucks. You want to do your taxes, or do you want to go to a fucking magical gumball land where eating tater tots gives you powers and wings and shit?
Mm-hmm.
Which one?
Why did we Kool-Aid? So those are going to be the people who are hard to get on our side. So we need to get the right celebrity endorser. So it has to be Tom DeLonge or Ashton Kutcher, as the case may be. If you get the good ending, if you get the correct way to win the game.
There's going to be exactly as many branching paths and outcomes of this game as there are in Shadow the Hedgehog.
Okay. Because
that will make it so that people will be like, it's an edgy game.
Mm-hmm.
So people will buy it.
Can this be the first edutainment game?
Oh my god.
I was so proud of myself in the second I thought of that. So.
Oh my god. I gotta do a Lola from Big Mouth. Oh my god.
That was pretty good.
Thank you.
Have we brought up Big Mouth on the show before?
I don't know if we brought up Big Mouth on the show.
We both like Big Mouth.
Me and my Big Mouth.
That's the name of the show. We've basically been referencing Big Mouth and Camp and Hamilton to each other in our messages. So, edutainment.
Honestly, I think that edutainment is the best genre of video game.
It's sort of a double pun
because it's all the education. It's all the goods of education and all the like grits of the edgy. So you
and also that goodtainment.
It's the only genre that people won't grow out of.
Mm-hmm.
It hits both markets. People who want to learn and people who want to fuck the system. That
could genuinely be a whole series, the edutainment series, because it's perfect. It's perfect. It's perfect for, we've solved the educational gaming problem where nobody wants to play games that make you learn anymore, but if they're edgy, then they do.
Yeah, so if you want to learn, you just have to make a video game about joining a cult and also animals and blood and...
Bone dust.
There was something else in there about it?
Bone dust.
Bone dust, yeah, and bone dust.
Mm-hmm.
And also Kool-Aid,
yep.
But also bone dust.
Mm-hmm.
I feel bad for talking about Kool-Aid like there's bone dust in it, and I'm almost completely sure that I lied about that.
Just go with it. Nobody checks anything we say in this show.
Kool-Aid is from Canada.
Yeah, Kool-Aid is actually made of crushed up copies of Sonic the Hedgehog Boom Rise of Lyric.
Sonic the Hedgehog Boom?
Yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog Boom. I mean, bone dust is pretty good for a October game. So is the game named Bone Dust? Is it
The game is named Bone Dust.
Kool-Aid, a Bone Dust Adventure, in brackets, the first game in the Edutainment series.
Yeah, we can print that on the spine of the video game.
I am excited for the rest of the Edutainment series too, because it is going to be the most successful game series since Klonoa, at least.
Dude, don't sell us like that. I don't know if we can live up to that kind of hype.
No, we definitely can't. I bet you Edutainment will be at least 2 times as popular as Klonoa. At least 2. At most
I'll side
6.
with you.
At most
but
6.
Man, we are selling ourselves pretty high.
I know, but we can get there.
So if we overpromise and we undersell, it's Euan's fault, not my fault. I was all for lowballing it and delivering a shitty product.
Actually, if we fail, we can blame PETA and just say that vegans aren't actually real, and that's the reason we couldn't sell the game. And then
they're imaginary, yeah.
Yeah, and then we have a ceremony where we kill a bunch of animals. We'll just kill a whole lot of animals.
Or we can say, all right, here's a video game. If you buy it, we'll save an animal. If you don't buy it, we'll kill an animal. So every time that you buy the video game, we save an animal. But if you don't buy it, we kill one.
Well, yeah, that for every copy you buy, we will save an animal. For every copy you do not buy, we will kill an animal.
Exactly, yeah. So that's going to be our marketing procedure.
I think that cancels out to us not doing anything. Assuming, we sell half of all our copies.
Yes.
That's a good plan.
I think that was a good game.
Yeah, we did a good game. That'll do us for this episode of KewlGames Inc. Vancouver. You can listen to us on various platforms, including the one you are listening to us on now, of course. This one. There are more episodes here. You can send us ideas on Twitter at KewlGames Inc. VN on Twitter. That is KEWL, not COOL. You can also email them to us at KewlGamesIncVN@gmail.com, also KEWL. We have a website, Spanky.works. We have a YouTube channel, which is KewlGames Inc. Vancouver, with the full Vancouver, also spelled KEWL. Search it with KEWL, no space, games, or else we don't turn up, because YouTube is stupid. We've got an animatic up there, and I was thinking I may put up the deleted segment from episode 2 about Vapor Mario, because I have that on there.
We've got a deleted segment.
So that's just a little something, because then you can only see that on the YouTubes, so go to our YouTube channel for that. I'm Euan O'Leary, and that's not a theory. I'm cheery, not teary.
And I'm Spanky, at SpankyWorks on Twitter, but don't call me SpankyWorks, just SpankyWorks.
This has been KewlGames Inc. Vancouver. Do a good game! You would be very good friends with my friend Simon. He is really into the crappy Pierce Brosnan Bond movies.
Isn't Simon my husband?
Yeah, Simon is your husband, and I'm not explaining that to the people at home. That is staying between us.
Okay.
I wonder if Simon is still listening to the podcast at this point, because he's told me he only listens to the first 20 minutes.